Also, I'd like to acknowledge that earlier this evening there was some confusion with the seating chart. For a moment, someone accidentally sat Governor Chris Christie with the Republicans. That was awkward, and I apologize. Very awkward.
So Governor Krispy Kreme has been in trouble lately in the media. But before we get to that, you just noticed that in the last couple of months, Chris Krispy Kreme has been real vocal, being the moral barometer of the Republican Party. He's been doing a lot of things, distancing himself from other of his colleagues, trying to give them a verbal disciplining in an attempt to be more appealing to the Democrats and to come across the aisle. He was very vocal in praising the Mangina-in-Chief during the hurricane situation and what have you. Now, I understand politics, and he had to do what he had to do because his state lost a lot of funding when the Mangina-in-Chief became president. So, politics, he had to publicly endorse Barack Obama. That's standard. But the problem is it has backfired on him already. So there was a situation that happened at a church where there was a meeting being held, and Governor Krispy Kreme he did the unthinkable. He did something that was very, very terrible. You know what he did? Let's tell you what he did. So there was a black Democratic female speaker who was blocking a bill that would give black and brown people the opportunity to go to better school systems that are not failing. But you know what Chris Christie did that was so wrong, so terrible, so bad, that just outrageous? He called the black female Democrat assemblywoman, you know what he called her? He called her a black female Democrat assemblywoman. Yeah, that's what he did. So her name is Sheila Oliver, the Democratic Speaker of the New Jersey Assembly, and although she has a name, Republican Governor Chris Christie referred to her by her race and her gender when discussing during the church-hosted a meeting. Christie told an audience Tuesday that an African-American female speaker, of the Assembly is blocking the vote as a school voucher, a bill that would let children escape failing schools. Oliver said that she was appalled at Christie's injecting race into the conversation. We'll get to why it was relevant for him to inject race. But Oliver represented a district of failing schools, but wants Governor Christie to make a bigger investment in education instead of relying on vouchers. So the school system sucks, and the Democrat Republican Assembly Democrat black female wants to put more money in the system that's already failing, but the Republican Chris Krispy Kreme wants to get vouchers to get the kids out of that school and put them in better schools. Moving on. On Tuesday, the pastor of the church where the event was held, Chris Christie was the pastor of that church, a female pastor, mind you, oxymoron, of that church, said that Krispy Kreme was being disrespectful and asked him to apologize. I was and am saddened by Governor's blatant attacks on the speaker, pastor of St. Luke Baptist Church in Patterson. The words the governor chose to use in speaking of the female black assemblywoman, while not even respecting her enough to call her by her name, defying her earlier assertion that political leaders, himself included, need to learn to respect all views and work together. Governor Chris Christie spokesman says the governor's comments were being misinterpreted. This splat comes from an inappropriate time for Governor Chris Christie. He is thought to be looking forward to running for the president nomination in 2016. Many felt that the iron roles Chris Christie had made in the black and brown community would serve for his run in the White House. So basically, you have a Republican offering a solution to failing schools which affect black and brown people. You have a Democrat black female who believes in throwing more money down an empty well. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how school choice and voucher system. So we know that during the election, the Mangina-in-Chief, when Barack Obama ran the first time in 2008, he did some type of a bill where he stopped the vouchers in Washington, D.C. So basically, the elite school that his Shasha Malia went to, it offered vouchers to let people from impoverished cities or neighborhoods go to those schools. The first thing he did as president was blocked at, so those kids couldn't go to those schools anymore. Now, I'm going to play a clip from a video from Region TV to break down the dynamics of school choice and how it's really not even that much money to offer the vouchers. In my city alone, which is a blue state and it sucks, we do have a lot of charter schools, and I can just look at my own relatives and look at the ones who went to private school, look at the ones who went to public schools, look at the ones who went to charter schools, and I've seen within a year the ones who made the transition from public to charter, their vocabulary, their grades switched within 2 years. They're on par almost with my other cousins who go to private schools. Of course, they pay money and they have a better education, they have more opportunities, they do more, but the ones who went from private to charter completely changed. I mean, completely. Their vocabulary is off the charts now. Their grades honor roll merit now from being, seeing these students. So charter schools are doing fine. But for some reason, liberals don't like them because they say it takes money away from the failing system that's already in place right now. So to recap though, Governor Krispy Kreme didn't call her Democrat. He called her the African American female assemblywoman. Now,
Christie. It happened during yesterday's town hall meeting when the governor accused the Assembly Speaker, Sheila Oliver, of blocking his school choice program. Listen to this.
We have an African-American female speaker of the Assembly who represents communities like East Orange and Orange where there are failing schools all over. I've got Republicans sitting over here who would vote for that bill tomorrow even though not a nickel of that money would go to their districts, because they believe in empowering people. And there's plenty of Democrats who believe in that too, who would vote for it too. But we've got one elected official who's saying,
the right, and
no.
it was beneath his stature to invoke into his discussion my ethnicity and my gender.
You were insulted.
I was insulted. What does it matter that I am a, quote, African-American female speaker? If we're going to have a public policy debate about public education in this state, that's where the...
So I think Governor Chris Christie did an excellent thing by referring to this woman by her position, her gender, and her race instead of calling her by name. I don't think he knew what he was doing, but I think he did a good job, and he didn't even know it, right? So he called this woman this out. I think to me it adds more insult to injury, and it validates a point that Republicans need to bandwagon off of. So he pointed out that you got a bunch of Republicans who support this bill and some Democrats, I guess. But you have a woman who has a lot of power and a lot of clout in whether or not this bill gets passed. And she happens to be a woman, a minority, and black. She also has to live in the districts that are failing. Remind you, those Republicans, this doesn't benefit them or the districts. It doesn't help them out. It does help out the poor communities. So the fact that you have a black woman being the opposition into a program that helps poor kids in failing schools do better, again, that was genius in my opinion on Governor Krispy Kreme. He didn't even know it though. It's kind of messed up though when you think about it, that this woman, and this is part of the reality, Melissa Harris' two last names, Perry, came out with that promo talking about your kids don't belong to our kids, blah, blah, blah. Yet she sends her children or her daughter to one of the most prestigious, or the second most expensive private school in Louisiana. She doesn't send her kids to government school, government-run school. She sends her kids to private school. So how does that work? These leftist elitists, most of them in politics, will send your children to these failing schools that are doing bad, but they don't send their kids there or their grandchildren there. They have the resources and funds to go to wherever they want to go. But again, your kids can stay there, even though schools suck, even though they're failing, even though they're not made to progress or do good. They're made to fail on purpose, and they want your kids to go there because they benefit from it. They benefit from the lobbies from the teacher union. They benefited from it because they keep people complacent and where they're at. It is what it is. But I think it was excellent for Governor Krispy Kreme to make that assertion, and he got a lot of flack for it. Now it's funny too how he was that, that stepchild trying to be, come at his own party to look good for the Democrats, and it worked for like 10 minutes, and now he made the statement and they are, stabbing him in the back already, I guess trying to say that he's racist or something because of something he said. I don't know. It is what it is. That's what you get, crispy fat boy. So you remember Miss Kelly Williams Bowler, the chick who lied, got 2 felonies because she falsified government documents, committed welfare fraud by saying her children lived somewhere that they didn't, and she was collecting, she was being compensated for allowing them to live there. Yeah, her. Well, I'm going to revisit the situation because she's not a victim. She's a volunteer. The media pretty much played her like she was some hero mom who just wanted to get her kids into a better school. That's a bunch of bullcrap. The chick is a con artist and a fraud, just like her dad, who just died in prison because of he got arrested for doing the same thing. But it's odd that he stayed in prison, but she got to go free because she's a woman. It is what it is. But her father got arrested for other charges for other things, but they're both freaking con artists. Yet she got to go away free because she cried like a little baby.
The best education possible. One Ohio mom is currently sitting in jail accused of illegally trying to get her daughters into a better school district. Should she be serving time, or was she justified? Our Andrew Canning is here with more on this mother's crime and her punishment here. This is going to really light up our message board.
Yeah, it is a big debate right now, Robin. Kelly Williams Bowler is serving a 10-day sentence. She falsified residency records, and prosecutors say a private investigator even caught her red-handed on video living in the wrong district. Bowler says all she wanted to do was help her daughters escape their crime-ridden Akron neighborhood.
It's overwhelming. I'm exhausted. I did this for them, so there it is.
Kelly Williams Bowler's decision to try to give her daughters a better life has now landed her behind bars. It started 4 years ago when Bowler, who lives in a poorer section of Akron, Ohio, sent her daughters to a highly ranked school in a neighboring district. The problem is, it wasn't her district, it was her father's, and her children weren't eligible to go there. She says she did it to keep them safe, and that she lived part-time with her dad.
When my home got broken into, I felt it was my duty to do something else.
But school officials said she was cheating, getting a quality education for her daughters without paying the right taxes to fund it.
Those dollars need to stay home with our students.
The school system says Bowler lied about her address, falsified records, and when confronted, had her father file false court papers to game the system. The district even hired a private investigator to follow her. She was ordered to pay $30,000 in back tuition, but refused and was indicted.
Ask yourself why would you believe a word she told you understand?
Bowler claims she was singled out.
This is not a murder trial. It's not.
I felt that some punishment or deterrent was needed for other individuals who might think to defraud the various school systems.
My girls need me. I've never ever went a day without seeing them off. Never.
The case has now divided a city.
Why they chose this particular young lady, this particular girl, and not anyone else.
And left many wondering how far a mother should go to give her children a better life.
I don't think they wanted money. I think they wanted me to be an example.
100 other families were investigated at the same time as Bowler. 3 agreed to stay and pay tuition. The others either proved they were residents of the district or admitted guilt. Only Bowler fought the school district.
And she wants to be a teacher, and now that could be in jeopardy.
She is only 12 credit hours away from her teacher's license. Now that she's been convicted of a felony, that is in jeopardy. She's also a teacher's aide, and her job, of course, is in jeopardy as well.
How much money are they spending trying to go after these families?
They spent thousands of dollars on the attorney fees and the private investigator fees. They claim, though, that the taxes that they're losing from these people is much more than that.
And if you talk, I mean, it's buzzing right here in our studio right now, and people are very aware of yes, it's not you're not supposed to do that, but people do it because they're just trying to get their kid a better education. The best way they can.
School districts are a hot button issue for people.
Absolutely, and the president talked about that a lot in the State of the Union. Andrea, thank you so much, and we would love to hear.
We remember this. Well, most blacks don't vote, in their own interests when it comes to school choice. Even if you're not going to vote in like the main election, to vote in the primaries for local elections, it would still make sense to vote for politicians that offer or support the voucher program. But most black people don't. And I'm going to show you the clip from Reason TV that breaks down, how blacks support the Democratic Party tooth and nail. hands down, even though they implement policies that affect them and hurt them when it comes to education. The man, John in Chief, in particular, did it in his own in Washington when he became president. He ended the voucher program, and that affected a lot of brown and black people. But it's just odd that they don't vote for a system in which will benefit them. It helps them. There's no question. And they give all their attention, time, money, and resources to the party that opposes this policy that directly helps. But this woman, she had to lie and do what she did. Had her district or her city offered this program at the time, this would have never been an issue. Well, if she never would have lied and just lived with her father, everything would have been done too. But her, after the situation was done and she got acquitted or whatever, the governor came in and expunged her record, her 2 felonies. She one of her daughters went to public school, and the other daughter got to get one of those vouchers. But check out this clip from Reason TV. It's breaking down how Democrats tend to be anti-school choice because they claim it takes away funds, which is a bunch of bullcrap. The money that goes to these voucher programs is not even a fraction of what the education system spends. But these leftists rather have that money go back into the public school system, which are failing, and they're not winning, and they can't compete to private or charter. I've said it many times before, anything with the word public in it, it sucks. Public schools, public housing, public transportation, public parks, and definitely a public defender. But check out this clip from Reason TV.
Letters with a 46 font. Why? Please tell me why. Why? My name is Ingrid Campbell, and I'm the proud mom of Mercedes Campbell. I got this letter, and the first thing in bold, all I saw was congratulations. And that's when I was so happy.
That letter was sent to inform Ingrid that her daughter Mercedes was accepted into the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program, also known as the DC Voucher Program. The program provides about 1,700 students with $7,500 per year to use toward tuition for whatever private school their parents choose. For Ingrid, the voucher has been nothing less than a godsend, a chance to get Mercedes out of one of the most expensive yet worst performing school districts in America. She now attends Georgetown Visitation, a well-regarded area prep school.
DC public schools have the worst test scores, or some of the worst test scores in the nation.
That's Virginia Walden Ford, who's been a leader in the DC school choice movement for over a decade, ever since her son William got a scholarship to attend a private school.
This is a community that African American males just don't do well in. Drug dealers and violence just follows them around. I believe that being able to choose a school that was safe and a better environment for William saved his life.
Both William and Mercedes were given a chance to attend private schools through scholarships. And Mercedes is just one of the thousands of kids who have benefited from the DC Voucher Program. But working with congressional Democrats, the Obama administration has effectively killed the program despite this pledge.
Secretary Duncan will use only one test when deciding what ideas to support with your precious tax dollars. It's not whether an idea is liberal or conservative, but whether it works.
The last 2 evaluations, last June and the one that most recently came out, indicated that the children are making significant gains.
Indeed, a recent Department of Education study found that after 3 years in private schools, students who came into the DC Voucher Program when it first started had a 19-month advantage in reading over their public school peers. Not only that, but parents love the program, so much so that there are 4 applicants for every available slot.
Now Mercedes has grown and blossomed and matured into a young lady that can make decisions on her own.
It's different now that I go to visitation. Like, I approach things differently. It's like a whole new world, basically. I'm just as bright as the girl who grew up in Arlington and goes to the public school in Arlington, or who's been in private school all her life. I think I can achieve just as much if only I had the opportunity.
We need to fight because this is the only way we're going to save not just the program, but our kids.
Everything else that they can shut down, or everything else they can advocate for, they want to take this one thing away.
Overall, the DC Voucher Program costs about $18 million a year. That's a good chunk of change, but it's nothing compared to the $67 billion the Fed spent on education last year. And of course, that's all in addition to the trillions of dollars the government has doled out to prop up failing banks and auto companies. So let's get this straight. The President and Congress seem ready to spend countless gobs of money on any number of failing businesses, but they're unwilling to spend $18 million for a successful program to help low-income families and kids.
You know, the thing that makes me the angriest about this, and I am angry, is that this has become about politics and not about children. You know, it's about parties, this party against this party, and it should never be about politics.
The argument for school choice is pretty basic. Everybody benefits when they have more options, whether we're talking about cars, coffee drinks, or schools. That the voucher program spends half as much per student than the conventional DC public school is icing on the cake. What's even more puzzling about Obama's actions is that he was a scholarship recipient himself as a youth, and he's a parent who has chosen an elite private school for his own daughters. So he knows better than most the value of school choice.
This is more than just legislation. This is more than just some paper that we want people to sign. These are kids' lives. You cannot look at the faces of these children. I can't without thinking about how this is going to affect them.
If Obama fails to live up to his own rhetoric about doing what's best for kids, not only will he have consigned another generation of students to schools that will never be fixed, he will have alienated some of his most ardent supporters.
Obama, we fought for you to the end. We screamed
did.
out the window,
voted.
Obama.
We voted, we walked, we went to the parade, we stood freezing. Why, once again, goes to Obama. Can I send him that? Can you get this tape over to Obama and have him answer our questions? Why, sir? Why?
We screamed out the window, Obama.
We voted, we walked, we went to the parade, we stood freezing. Why? Once again, goes to Obama. Can I send him that? Can you get this tape over to Obama and have him answer our questions? Why, sir?
Obama.
We voted, we walked, we went to the parade, we stood freezing. Why? Once again, goes to Obama. Can I send him that? Can you get this tape over to Obama and have him answer our questions? Why, sir? Why?
Ha